Hello, hello. Welcome to another Let's Look Through My Pictures and Talk About My Trip to Japan video. I drank a Hawaiian coffee this morning, which for my very low caffeine tolerance brain has a lot of caffeine, and I feel motivated. Let's see if we can just finish this off and one big finale video talk about the last few days. Starting with our second day in Kyoto. These were two magazines that were left in our room for us to peruse while there. I really, really enjoyed reading them. I just took a picture to remember how much fun they were. This one was just restaurants. Every page was just this like beautiful spread on the history of each restaurant and what they offer and where they're located, and just lovely pictures of food. And then this one was more general souvenirs and tourist attractions and day activities. I don't even know if it listed the thing that we ultimately did today. This I just thought looked funny. My trio of things I need at during while I'm in bed, with the nice screen behind it. So another shot of the pagoda out the window. So it was Mother's Day this day, and as a little treat, I got us tickets for. Well, actually, you'll see. That was our goal today. It was a little overcast, which was unfortunate for what we were going to do, but it is what it is. Just some shots of the alleyways and streets around where we were in Higashiyama area. Little shrine on the streets. Lovely old temples and stuff. This is kind of passing the park that we exited before. Heading back into the city, heading for the subway. Actually, I think we took a bus first. This was just the bus kind of status board. It's like everything to do with public transit in Japan. It was very feature rich and detailed and accurate and lovely. It really made getting around a breeze. This was an ad for a zoo in Kyoto that had red pandas. She's so lucky. Red pandas are so cute. The zoo in Toronto has red pandas too. I gotta go sometime. I gotta see the red pandas. Just some apartment blocks. So I think we've already taken one bus at this point. Our final destination was a ways out. So we kind of stopped a few places along the way to just see other slices of the city. This is a big mosaic showing. When does this happen? During Obon, I think. There's a famous festival in Kyoto where they light a huge bonfire out in the hills, spelling the character big. And you may recognize this in Pokemon when you use Fire Blast. The flames spread out into the character big. At least they did in the old games. I don't know if they still do. Whoops. But that is a tribute to this festival. So that was neat to see. Obviously, we weren't there at the right time to actually see it in person. I'd love to at some point. It's just so famous. It shows up in so many anime and stuff. Other little mosaics showing slices of Kyoto. Very nice. I really like this banner. Everything is practice. What a good attitude. Out here in a baseball diamond. Of course, Japan loves baseball. So this was a castle that I saw was kind of en route to our actual destination today. We thought about going in and touring it, but it was like a big paid substantial thing, and we didn't really have time to spend a whole lot of time here. But we got to see it from the outside, which was nice. Better than the Imperial Palace, where you couldn't really see anything until you paid to get in and it was closed. But just a nice old building with, of course, the big moat and fortifications. This talks about how it was used as a set in a lot of situations. My mom did translation and then screen crapped the translation, which I think is very smart. So it was the first film studio in Kyoto was built on the land around Nijo Castle. Neat. 1910, wow. Yeah, the history of Japanese cinema is really amazing. Like, it has such a through line that you can go back to the silent era to some of the first full-length Japanese features and see somebody like Ozu who made movies in that era, and then made movies all the way into the 50s and 60s, including some of the really pivotal masterpieces of Japanese cinema, like Tokyo Monogatari. And then even today, you get a lot of Japanese filmmakers that cite Ozu as like their number one inspiration. And that's not to say that, you know, the history of Japanese cinema is limited, but it's so interconnected. It's so, you know, with such reverence to those that have come before it. I suppose this is true for cinema in all world cultures to varying extents, but it feels very different than something like Hollywood, which had, you know, major different movements that almost like attempted to fly in the face of what had been done before and defy what had been done before. I don't know. It's definitely Ozu specifically. Just kind of the legacy and longevity of Ozu I find so remarkable. But yeah, very neat. Here's a shot of a big shrine we passed by. Actually, I think this was a church. I think this was actually like a Christian facility. This is like the heaven place. Yeah, this was some sort of church branch. So that was quite interesting. Old pines from across the way. Taxi. Cool taxi. So classic. I really like this place was called Boo Boo Park. Just the parking lot. This means that there are indeed spaces available. Very lovely flowers as we kind of walked along here, heading towards the subway station that would take us to our ultimate destination. Nice close-ups of flowers. This was, I think, in the subway station. It just had a big, cool roof. Yeah. Well, subway isn't the right word. You know, the rail station. You can see the big hills in the background. This I thought was interesting. I think this is either the work of a bird or a bird deterrent. I think it must be a bird deterrent, because I don't know how the hell a bird would have found so many specifically coat hangers and brought them there. Or maybe there was some massive coat hanger truck spill and the birds made their entire nest from it. But no, I think this was placed up here to deter birds. But it's like, why here? Why not, like, everywhere? Like, why not at this one, too? I don't know. It's very weird. Just a very strange anomaly I saw up there. Here's another shot. You can see trains approaching. This tells you which cars are boardable, like where you should stand. This is how many cars there are. Just so much info. So feature-rich. It just tells you everything you need to know. It's decades ahead of where we're at in North America. An unfathomable time ahead. And yet it's not like it's so complicated. They just need to do it. So this was a nice looking train. I just really like the color of it. The Kyoto Tango Railway. Since 1915. What the fuck? I did not read that number right. Since 2015. This is from our train. It's kind of more out into the countryside. Watch out for bird poop. Attention, caution. The pigeon is pooping. This is again heading out into the hills. And then where we were heading was the Saga Toriko Station. So this is kind of the... Ooh, this is neat. Bird's nest, a mudwern or something. Mud wren? Wren? Yeah, wren. Bird poop. So this is that railway. Toroko Saga Station. Not Saga Prefecture, which you may know from Zombieland Saga. That's way, way down in the far west of the country. But another saga. I don't even know what saga means. So they had a nice, lovely train station here. We spent a little bit of time. This cafe. They advertising the Hello Kitty Shinkansen, and then what we were here for, which was the romantic train. And of course, Japan loves capital R romance. I'm sure it is a lovely dating spot too, but it's certainly more about the romance of seeing the countryside and the roaring hills and the gushing rivers and all that stuff. So basically, used to be a train that would kind of weave its way around through the mountains and rivers out west of Kyoto and head to this town, Saga. Gudetama egg. Train egg sucks. And then at some point, I want to say in the early 90s, they put in a new line that was much more fast and much more direct and went even further. But they kept the old line around because it was so scenic and so beautiful that it just became this like tourist attraction that you can just ride it for fun. Obviously, you'll still end up in Saga, and you can do whatever you want there. But the appeal is, the scenery, which is what we were doing today, the Scenic Train. My mom won this from the claw machine, a little Pichu. Good job, Mom. They had this nice model train there. This is not at all what the romantic Scenic Train looks like. I think this is just a little excerpt of this area of West Kyoto. You could drive it. I think it was coin operated. This was another little cafe. I just really like the look of this entrance. This is all inside that train station. Fan art of the romantic train from kids of all ages. It's adorable. I love especially seeing little kids' handwriting. Ganbare! Do your best, romantic train! Oh, it's so great. Saga no Toriko. That's, the station we're at. Toriko Taisuki. I love Toriko. Ah, it's so nice. Toriko ni noritai ne. I want to ride on the train to Toriko. This one's quite long. This is an older kid, I guess. Saga no kanko utetsudo. I don't know what that means. This is a fun little challenge. Yeah, really cute. All sorts of very cute drawings and stuff here. Oops. So yeah, this was a weird space. This was like a unreal space. They had these old decommissioned engines, okay? These huge chandeliers. There was multiple chandeliers this large. And then a collection of like rare, unique pianos. And the idea is that you can book these pianos. There may be some sort of competency certification involved, or you probably have to pay as well. But you can book time playing on these pianos because it makes such a great backdrop that if you wanted to film like a music video and have shots of somebody playing the piano in this super dramatic, almost, I don't know why I took a video, almost like Final Fantasy-esque space. That's what it's all set up for. They had this here, a Bosendorfer, which is a very, very rare piano model that has 97 keys, which is pretty neat. You can produce the lowest tone audible to human beings. It's this probably this specific instrument has like a legacy and history and provenance that itself probably deserves like a Wikipedia article. But yeah, this is the only time I've ever encountered this 97 key piano. You can see it's huge. It's much bigger than a normal grand piano because those additional strings have to be longer and longer and longer and thicker and thicker and thicker. But yeah, it was really cool. See the old engines. Amazing. This is from that other perspective. You can see the other big chandeliers. In the back, they had a pipe organ and a harpsichord. Again, just kind of like more obscure instruments, like things that you may not get a chance to play so often. Pipe organs especially, like we kind of think of them as common. I'm sure a lot of us have been in a church that has one somewhere. But they really only are kind of in North American churches. Pipe organs themselves have like a known provenance. I know an organist who knows like the lineage of pretty much all the major organs in Ontario. And when we were just incidentally in another church to practice one day, he was able to be like, oh yeah, this was installed in this year and originally it was in this place and blah, blah, blah. And so it's this kind of organ. And it specializes in these sorts of tones, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like people who are into organs, there's a lot to learn. So it's very rare, really, to see one in Japan. Like it's kind of crazy to see one installed, especially in a place like this. What a strange place. And then here you can get drinks and stuff. They also had a little standing piano over here, an upright, that was just totally free for anyone to play. Some kids were playing on it while we were there. But yeah, just real surreal area. Here you can see where the steam engine would normally be attached. So cool. The Allen organ Quantum, a pipe organ that is reigned as the queen of musical instruments. Huh. Neat. Wait, so this is not actually... It just looks like a pipe organ, but it's not actually using the pipes. It's using digital technology? Huh? I'm a little confused, but whatever. This is just sort of like an advertisement for what instruments are available. This is the harpsichord, of course. Another instrument that's not like exceedingly crazy rare. Like I think the Bissendorfer is the Bosendorfer is like the only like really crazy one to actually see in the flesh. I've seen several harpsichords in the flesh, but still very cool. Lovely sounding instrument. This is some info on the trains themselves. Very cool. You can hear the kid playing piano. It's lagging a little. I think the kid was like playing something that I recognized, and I wanted to capture a bit of it. But now I can't tell what it is. I don't know, maybe I was just taking a video of walking around. Yeah. Concert pianos are available to rent. Daily practice, performance, and video presentations using the piano. So yeah, you could imagine, right? Aspiring pianist, maybe like Instagrammer pianist, books the piano here. What a crazy dramatic background. Oh yeah, this is a little model, and you could press a button, and it would make the sound of the steam train. It's cute. This was just a little display of like an old carriage, what they looked like at scale with people inside. Very neat. Oh, so this is what it is. They were just passenger cars that didn't have engines, and people would just push them. That's kind of wild. That's so wild. Neat. Thank you to my mom for translating that and screen capping it, because I wouldn't have bothered trying to read it in Japanese. So yeah, we spent a while here looking around. I got the banana juice I kept seeing advertised at this cafe. It was really, really tasty. Not too sweet, just lovely banana flavor. This was black strawberry romantic. Black strawberry, how romantic, basically. I don't know what the heck. It's like black strawberry popcorn, I guess? Flavored? I don't know. I thought this was very cute. Duck cookie. They had all sorts of souvenirs, flavors and stuff. Pringles. This was some murals in the station. Very lovely. Some posters for it. It gives you a sense of what it's going to be like. Here we are waiting to board. Here it comes. I was like trying to get a video, and then I think here we go. I got a decent video here. Or my mom did. Rolling into the station, this lovely old train. Here it comes. The romantic train. So yeah, it was great. We took a million pictures. The only thing that was bad is that it was not built for my fat ass. The seats, this sits like two, so we were very kind of cramped in together, but oh well. It is what it is. This was nice. Everybody was all dressed up and they see you off and wave and stuff. Aside from that, though, it was really wonderful. And then, yeah, here's a million pictures. Here's my mom looking out the window as we rolled off. You go through the bamboo forest, which was really nice. I've never actually like walked around in here. It's one of the most like touristy things that I have just never done. But you know, it's just lovely, and you get to see a very great view of it as it goes by. Palms and stuff, more bamboo. So we took a million pictures. And you know, it's like, I think part of the fun is taking pictures because it just makes you try to appreciate all the stuff there is to take pictures of. And really think about how can I really capture the beauty of this in the moment that I'm experiencing. So it's not even like, you know, the pictures themselves are so substantial. It's more just about the excitement of taking the pictures. This is like Turtle Mountain. Oh yeah, yeah. The name of Saga I think is like Turtle Mountain or something. I saw a sign later where I realized that it has the word turtle in it. So we'll see exactly what this area is called. But yeah, you start going alongside the river. It's very beautiful. Some places with rapids. And there was like an activity as well where you could kayak back through the rapids in like the other direction. We didn't end up doing that. It looked very intense and challenging. But it's neat to see, and we saw the kayakers a few times. Lovely, huge hills just covered in trees, looking like broccoli. You can see the river below. Yeah, it was great. Just breathtaking. Just, you know, the full force of Japanese nature. And you go over this really old bridge, and then you're kind of on the other side of the river. Which is nice, too, because then both sides of the train got to get this kind of view. We passed briefly. So there, even though this is like a tourist thing, there are still stops, but they're like tourist-oriented stops. Like, so I keep pulling up the wrong thing. This was one where you could get off and then just like walk around. There's like a hiking trail that loops back around, and then you can get back on the train. They had this whole family of tanuki statues there. Very cute. There's a chime melody. I don't know why it's so bad at loading these videos. What is that? Camptown Races? Yeah, that's Camptown Races. And start seeing the big hills that we wind around. Just this lovely canopy of green everywhere you go. Here's some of the old like hiking trails and stuff. Old forest. This was going through a tunnel. I just thought the lighting was really cool. It was so dynamic. My phone camera couldn't process it very well either, it looks like. The blur of trees going by. You can see the rapids. It's a wonder that people could kayak through all of this. This was passing another area, and then here we are pulling into the town of Saga. I believe. I think that's what the town is called. Another tanuki. So our plan was we booked a ticket back. We were just going to take the Scenic Train there and back. And then in between, we gave ourselves like an hour. I think it like basically departs every hour. So we booked, you know, a gap so that we could explore this rural town, which was neat. See a lot of farmland. You can see the big hills in the background. I always wonder, you know, like if you live here, do you get bored of this view? Like, could you really? Could you start taking it for granted? It's amazing. Just breathtaking. This is one place that we thought about stopping at. We saw on Google Maps. They sold roasted sweet potatoes and other snacks, but it was closed. We ended up going to this bakery. Ordinary Day. It was quite nice. I think later I took a picture of what we got. Kameoka. That's the name of the town. Kameoka. And the Kame, it's like Turtle Hill. This is Turtle and Hill. So earlier they referred to it as Kameyama or whatever, like Turtle Mountain. But the actual name of the town is just Turtle Hill. But I think that's really cute. Doesn't it kind of look like a turtle? Doesn't it look like a big turtle shell? And their mascot, of course, is this cute little turtle. I had little souvenirs, plushies of the turtle. Ah, yeah, this is what I got. It was kind of like a pizza bread thing, cheese and all sorts of veggies, really good. It's the Turtle Hill again. This was like the only place I saw this Tropicana mixed juice thing. It was in the vending machine. It was so good. It was so delicious. Ooh, and I got this apple tart for dessert. It was also phenomenal. And then we got these Maroche candies. They're made by Canro, which is the Puree brand. So I had high expectations from them, and they were delicious. Just like super intense flavor, but this soft, marshmallowy, chewy texture. Really, really good. My mom was a huge fan too. We ended up stocking up on these after we liked them so much. And then here is our return journey. This is a really lovely shot. This might be the thumbnail. I don't know. We'll see. We were on car number 5 this time, which was the open air car. So you can see it probably as the train comes in. I got the full approach this time. And you can see this is the new, more modern train, which takes a more efficient path, like I was saying. Oops. I don't know how I did that or what I just did. Whoops. Anyways. So yeah, we were in this one on the way back, where it's totally open to the world, and not just like windows that are open, but the roof is windowed and you're just in communication with nature. Oh, it was so nice. It reminded me a lot of a concept I've heard before of forest bathing, where they just really recommend if you spend time... Oh, here's... I guess they're not kayaks. They're like paddle boat things. But yeah, it looked quite intense. If you just spend time deep in a forest surrounded by greenery... Here we are waving to them. It has all sorts of like positive mental health benefits. This is up through the roof. And especially in the open air car, I just really felt that. I really felt like I was bathing within the forest. It was so nice. Really, really lovely activity. It's nice that you got to sit for the whole time. It wasn't strenuous. It wasn't exhausting. Just out in nature. Deep, deep into nature. It's the rapids. Again, it's like, what's that little boat gonna do? I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong about how rapid rapids are. But it looks intense. Doesn't it look intense? The lovely hills. You hear the train chugging along. Really adds to the whole environment. It sounds kind of unpleasant in the video, but in person you really get that nice cha-chunk feel. This is also a video. Just trying to get the spirit of how green everything was, how deep in the greens you felt. I hear this is most popular though in the autumn, when the trees all start changing colors, which does sound really lovely to me. Here's that Tanuki family again. More rapids and stuff. And then the whole time the announcements were directing us to points of interest and stuff, but it was quite difficult to make out what was being said, so I didn't bother. And look at this little dog in the pouch. It's so cute! Ah, so cute. This is going through the bamboo forest again, and then kind of back into the city of Kyoto. This was something that I made a note for. Maybe on some other trip. I would love to see the monkey park. I'd love to see these monkeys. This is so cute. Baby riding around. I like it. Doki Doki. It's heart-pounding excitement. Waku Waku. You're just, oh wow, the monkeys. Iwatayama. I'm not sure what that means. Yama, I assume, is mountain here. Arashiyama is this place, which I guess is also on the outskirts of Kyoto. And train station. The monkey park again. This was a ramen vending machine. I wasn't really sure how it worked. I was kind of curious about it. We didn't end up trying it though. This is another okonomiyaki vending machine. Another one that's like hard to picture. How does it work in vending machines? This I thought was really nice. Um, I was very curious exactly what all this was saying, but it certainly seems very pro LGBT. Nitsu ite watte masu ka? Like, do you know what's up? In the new year, LGBT2, this word, you've been hearing this a lot. Something like that. Or the amount you've been hearing this word has probably been going up. But LGBT people, their feelings, どのぐらいおかり、oh, this construction is kind of like whereabouts is something. もし会えたことがない I haven't met them. I don't know someone. Even though you might think that, I think this is getting across like you probably do, which is a really good sentiment, and I think that's something that people sometimes really don't understand. Let's do our best. Did it work? And by do our best, I mean cheat. Search images with Google. So if I do this, then we can do translate. In recent years, opportunities to see and hear the word LGBTQ have increased. Not bad. I was kind of close. Many people, but how many people do you feel close to LGBT people? So yeah, basically like, but do you actually... It's not that they don't have someone to help them, they just have various thoughts and circumstances they haven't told anyone about. Let's take this opportunity to think about sexual diversity. Nice, okay. And then let's search again. Translate these guys. I think I did okay, but I could have... I don't know my gender and feel confused. Is this just me? Lately, my heart is pounding when I'm with this girl, but let's make sure no one notices. I don't want my body to grow into a manly one. Is there anyone who understands this feeling? Ah, very nice. Very, very nice sentiments. We did okay on the translation, but there's a lot of other stuff I want to cover in this video, so we can't spend all day trying to read this poster. Even among those close to you, you may not be able to talk to anyone and are worried. There may be people who are hurt by the words and actions of those around them. Nice. So I think this is... I thought it was more like education about LGBT to other people, but this is very much like, are you struggling? Do you wish there was someone you could talk to? Here is a resource, which is even nicer. Really nice to see. Boo Boo Park. Nice old buildings here. I actually can't quite remember what we did after this. Oh, I think we did a little shopping. Yeah, we went to, what's this place called? Traveler's Factory, where they had a lot of nice stuff. I got to have a nice conversation with the people working there. I think my Japanese was in good form. They had this poster, which was very silly. Not really sure what is being expressed here, but it's cute. All the partner shops of Traveler's Factory. There's Wonder Pens I have heard of in Toronto. I've never been there, but I should check it out because they had really nice stuff, Traveler's Factory. Poster for Wim Wenders' Perfect Days, the movie I still have to see. Yeah, so they sell a lot of like notebooks here, and then they have all sorts of stamps to customize the notebook. But my mom also had a notebook where she was putting in like train stamps and stuff. So I was like, in Japanese, I was asking, do you mind if my mom stamps her own notebook? And they were like, oh, that's fine, that's fine. And I'm like, oh, that's great. That's like her special notebook. Tokubetsu no noto. And they were like, oh, let's see, let's see. So then my mom went through and showed all of her stamps and souvenirs from so far to the store clerk, which was fun. And then I kind of felt like, oh, I kind of want to buy something here just because they were nice to us, and it was nice kind of chatting to her and practicing Japanese. So they had these curries, and there was one black curry, And I was like, oh, this black curry, like, what flavor is it? And they said, oh, it's like dandan. And I was like, oh, like Chinese cuisine's dandan. And they were like, yeah, it's a little spicy. And I was like, oh, I don't mind a little spicy. I like a little spicy. I was like, oh, I'm nailing this one. It was a nice little conversation in Japanese. I can recall, like sentence by sentence these conversations because my mind was like so locked in to try to figure out like what to say and to like translate back what they were saying. And then when I was checking out, so I ended up buying it, they were asking where I was from, and I was like, oh, I'm from Toronto. And they were like surprised. They thought I lived in Japan. I was like, oh, that's a big compliment. They said, oh, your Japanese is surprisingly good for just like a tourist. So I was very, very impressed with myself. Let's go. I'm so happy I really took opportunities to speak Japanese during this trip. In previous trips, I just was too shy and too unconfident and worried that I would screw something up. This time, though, I think really mostly motivated by the total influx of tourists and wanting to appear as one of the good ones. I really made an effort, and it was very rewarding. Then we went to this tempura place. We tried lobster tempura, which was pretty freaking cool. This was truffle salt to go with it. Some other tempura dishes. It was quite nice. There was like shrimp and chicken and then some veggies. Really, really good. Nice other old shop. Ape Universe. Was this like Bape related? This looks like the Bape mascot. But why is it ape instead of Bape? Instead of bathing ape, it's aping ape? I don't know, whatever. This is a nice little shopping district. So much cool stuff in every direction. Then I think we started heading back to the ryokan. Again, just like these streets in Higashiyama are just so beautiful. A lot of these places are like members-only bars and clubs and stuff. I learned about this in Shimakun, the businessman manga. A lot of these places you need to like know somebody that can give you an invitation and take you in the first time, and if that goes well and you're kind and get along with the other patrons, then you can come and go as you please. But most of these bars a gaijin like me will never step into. They're just whole little worlds unto themselves. It's pretty remarkable. We got back this time and they had given us cantaloupe, which is amazing. Certainly a very generous, wonderful gift. Melon in Japan is super expensive. Fruit in general is super expensive. But melon stands as the king of fruits. And it was really, really nice melon. This is in the ryokan. This is the day we left, I guess. But I'll keep going. I think we can get to the end. I think we're pretty close to the end. Let's just marathon through. So yeah, this was nice calligraphy in there. And then we went to go board the Shinkansen back to Tokyo. We just took a taxi again because, as I was saying in the previous video, they really don't like people bringing their luggage on buses, and we would need to have taken a bus to get back to the Shinkansen station. There it is. There's the Maroche. One package gone. This is a picture I probably took accidentally. Then we're back in Tokyo. We got in pretty early, 2 p.m. Our hotel wasn't ready yet. So we were just kind of killing time in the area. Went to Moss Burger, had ourselves some burgers, really good. I got the teriyaki burger, something I can remember really liking the very first time I went to Japan. This is... My mom kept cracking up at these toilet instructions. And to me, they're pretty reasonable, because there's a lot of countries where the squatty potty is still predominant. If you're getting tourists from like Southeast Asia and stuff, that's not uncommon. And then also, the idea that flushing the toilet paper is allowed is also uncommon in a lot of places in the world. Places like the Philippines and Indonesia, I think it's more common than not that their septic systems can't handle toilet paper. Like, it'll clog at the toilet level or somewhere else pretty immediate. And so you don't flush the toilet paper. You just throw it out into a waistband basket in the toilet, like in the bathroom. And it's like, yeah, that's just how it is. So these are necessary things. But it is interesting, right? Like it just sort of shows that there's cultures and tourism and stuff that's more present in Japan than where we're used to. Latest issue of Shonen Jump, I was just excited to see it. I had just read on the Shinkansen back to Tokyo, this issue on the Viz app, this first chapter of Psych House. Bro, I love Psych House. Psycho Byori. It's just such a lovely slice of life series. It's so fun. It's one of my favorite new series right now. Accidental picture, probably. This was our hotel in Ginza, where we spent our last few nights. Outside, this is the earthquake stabilizer. You see these sometimes in Japan. It's very cool. I don't know how the hell it works. This was an ice cream I got that I really liked. This is just some footage of Ginza. Oh yeah, this was a kinetic sculpture thing in the front of this like fashion studio place. I think I got a more up-close shot later. It's a Gucci store. We were in the really high-end fashion area of Ginza. So it was neat to see all these kind of Japanese flagships of famous brands. There's the other Gucci store. It's a big lineup to get into this one. We went to a Tokyo Hands, which I don't even think is called Tokyo Hands anymore. It's called just Hands. But it's like a craft and artisanship store, because there was some stuff my mom was looking for in the realm of stationery and stuff. Because Japan is just phenomenal for all of that. So I was like, yeah, this is a great opportunity. Let's check out Tokyo Hands. We got some more souvenirs for people here. I like they had all these seeds. The packaging, I think, is just lovely, and it shows from where in Japan it comes from. Oh no, these are gummies. I thought these were... Why does it say cultivation kit? These are just gummies. But yeah, fruits from all over Japan. Very cool. They had these model kits that I thought were very neat. Great as souvenir. Yeah, I kind of wish I had got one of these. I don't know. I really want to make models like this. I think the process is just so fascinating, and the result is so beautiful and captivating. But I think I'd be really bad at it. I don't have good, like, fine motor control. Like, I have a hard time applying, like, a tiny amount of pressure, or putting something just in the right place, or applying stickers and stuff is really hard for me. But I love the idea of them. I think even if I did a shitty job, I'd feel satisfied. Just making something. So yeah, more of these. They're so neat. If you like this sort of stuff, I highly recommend the channel Hanabira. Hanabira? Yeah, Hanabira. They're just really phenomenal at making miniatures like this. More models. So many cool models. Different scales, different form factors. I should have got one. I don't know. I was trying to not take so much, spend so much money either. But yeah, there's the big Armani store, big Balenciaga store, big Hugo Boss store. The Louis Vuitton store looked really cool. This crazy iridescent sheen. Again, big line to get in. Oh, this was this kinetic sculpture. This one was doing well. This one kind of got folded in and out of itself. But it looked neat. We went to Natural Lawson, which is like a version of Lawson that sells more organic stuff, I think. And it had all these like plant motifs in the decor. But I couldn't really tell what was different in terms of the selections. Like, not very well, at least. We wanted to get some stamps because we'd been buying postcards. Getting near the end of the trip, we got to send them out soon. So I had heard that you can buy stamps in convenience stores. We had another funny miscommunication here. Oh, I guess this is kind of unique to the Natural Lawson, is this sort of fruit selection. At any rate, I was asking, there's a Japanese word, stempu, right? And so I was asking stempu, garimasu ka? Like, do you guys have these stamps? And they were like, no, the eki janai. Like, I think they got they thought we were confused. And that I thought this was like a train station or something. And that I was looking for the rubber stamp. Because that's what stampu means, is the rubber stamp. And a stamp that you put on mail is kipu, I think. Yeah, kipu. And I actually, this is like one of the very few times on the trip. I probably should have done this more. It might have helped in some other situations. But this was one of the very few times on the trip I just pulled up Google Translate really quick, postage stamp, and then I saw a completely different word. Or no, is it kite? Maybe it's kite. And then I asked, oh, do you have kite? And they were like, oh, wakata. No. No, there's no. So we had to go to another convenience store, but whatever. A whole bunch of soju in the Natural Lawson. Look at how cheap it is. Oh my god, every time I want to cry, this would be like $11 here in Canada. I love soju. If I'm drinking, soju is basically the top of the list of stuff that I like to drink to, like, you know, get drunk. But it's like 3 times as expensive back in Canada. Oh well. So this is quite a bit later. We went back to the hotel and relaxed a bit. And then I was going to go out one last time to have dinner with my friend who lives in Tokyo. So I went to the station and I got extremely lost looking for the subway line that would get me out to where he was getting off work. But I found this really cool indoor basement shopping area, or restaurant area more. All these tiny little bars and storefronts. It's just so amazing. It really is just kind of like the same as the above ground shopping areas in like Shinsekai. But it really drove home just how like fractally deep and intricate Japan is, that just in this train station, because I got lost and because I took a wrong turn or something, I ended up in this whole zone that I never otherwise would have known existed. And even though this area is quite drab and plain, as soon as you go beyond the barrier and into these little places, they're so decorated and rich with history, and you can tell they've probably been there for decades and decades. It's amazing. What really blew me away is I just glanced over into one of them. It's totally at random. And somebody was being shown this huge tray of uni. It was probably the biggest tray of uni I've seen in my life. It must have cost, even in Japan, hundreds of dollars, tens of thousands of yen. And just the feeling that within all of these places, things like that could be unfolding. Like these moments of reverence and intimacy and excitement of these deep culinary traditions and artisan arts. And oh, it just blew me away. I could have spent hours in here. At the same time, though, it did feel sort of like out of place. So, you know, Japan is like overrun with tourists right now. Everybody's talking about it. But so quickly you can get into a space that you can tell I might be the only tourist that's walked in here today. This is like a rare screenshot where you can see many people, and I don't think any of these are non-Japanese people. It really was like, wow, I have stumbled into something that is just its own world that I have nothing to do with. So yeah, I think I would have been way too intimidated to eat at any of these places, but it was cool to see. Here I am in the subway station, deep, deep, deep underground. And this ended up being like by far the most crowded train ride I took the whole time I was there. It's like 6:48, so, you know, diehard salarymen are now getting off work. I was, again, in a zone where I did not see any other tourists. It was just me and a sea of Japanese salarymen. I had a funny experience, right? So Shonen Jump had just come out. As I said, earlier that day, I had read it all on the Viz app. And the only thing I hadn't read was One Piece, because I make the One Piece video reviews and discussions and stuff, as you've seen on this channel. So I was waiting to get home and make a video. And then earlier, I almost got spoiled because I glanced over and I saw somebody like flipping through Jump in a convenience store. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I wonder what this guy's reading. It was like a businessman looking dude. I just kind of casually strolled past and glanced over. Of course he's reading One Piece. So I saw just boom, there's one page of the new chapter. It's like, I've been spoiled. And then now getting on the subway, I was so packed in with people. There was somebody right in front of me that was practicing English. He had like an English learning app. And I was like, okay, that's kind of neat because I have Japanese learning apps, so I get to see kind of the other side of it. So I was doing a little phone watch and eavesdropping. So he's doing this for a bit. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then he gets out of there. I see him loading another app, and I can see it's like a Japanese Shonen Jump app. It's like the official Japanese Shonen Jump app. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I wonder what he's gonna read. He's scrolling, and I'm like, oh my god, he's about to read One Piece. And it's like I almost can't look away. Like I'm stuck in this huge shoulder to shoulder crowd of people. This guy's right in front of me about to read the new chapter. But I was saved by the shoddiness of this app. And as much as I love the Viz app, it also sucks at actually loading the chapters consistently and has all sorts of issues. So I just saw him like try to load it. It doesn't work. He's like resetting his internet. He's restarting the app. The whole time I'm like, come on. Don't work. I don't want to read One Piece like this. And then eventually he gave up and went back to English practice. But it was just so funny. I felt like besieged. Besieged by spoiler opportunities. Anyways, so I met up with my friend at a station kind of on the way to his place where he knew a good place to go eat. I thought this was really interesting. This halal Asian and African food place. Really cool to see that sort of stuff. Just like other cultural influences coming through. So this is the place he recommended. A super old school soba shop. That again, I would probably be way too intimidated to visit on my own. So I felt very grateful that he took me here. And we were going to have some just old school traditional soba. It was run by this old lady and her husband. She must have been like in her 80s. Just this tiny old lady. She was so friendly to us, and so like she knew my friend because he had eaten there a few times already and had chatted with her before, and she was excited to meet me and hear me speak my horrible Japanese. They had a traditional sitting area as well. We didn't use that. We sat at normal tables. So we just kind of asked what her recommendations were, and first she brought us this duck appetizer. So this is just duck breast, and oh my god, like, I mean, you can't compare it 1-to-1 with like Peking duck, but in terms of just like duck flavor and just like pure appreciation of that slightly gamey, slightly sweet, sort of turkey-y, chicken-y, but not quite that almost red meat taste that you get from duck. This was like the best duck I've ever had for sure. It blew me away. And then we got this beef dish, beef and onions as our second appetizer. It was really nice, really fatty beef. I'm getting hungry. And then this was the soba itself. We got a tempura soba. The broth was just sublime. So subtle. You know, it's just water-based with dashi and some very light seasoning. But just so warm and enriching, and oh, it was so good. So good. This is a little shopping arcade on our way out. Skellington. I think this is like a chiropractor sort of place or something. Then we decided to stop at one other place to have kind of like a little snack as dessert. And a beer. So here you had a little charcoal grill at your table, and then the menu was just full of like grillables. So we got this like bacon that was really good. We got a piece of salmon, which was really excellent, just so buttery and tender and flavorful. Then we got a plate of fries because I don't know, just kind of craving fries. So it was a great time. We just chatted and got all caught up. You know, we hadn't seen each other in about 5 years at this point. So many things that happened in our lives. It was really, really lovely. A great evening out. There he is on the other side of the platform. I got this strawberry milk on the way back that was really good. I got this pastry. I picked these up for me and my mom on the way back. They're pretty good. And then the next day, our final full day in Japan, we decided to split up because there was a few souvenirs that my mom wanted and a few souvenirs type stuff that I wanted too. And basically it was like a feeling of uh, why go along with what the other one wants to do when that will just detract our own solo mission time of things that only one of us really cares about that much. So we just split up pretty early in the day. I found the Cheers bar, the bar from Cheers. Wow. It was in Tokyo. I thought it was in Boston. That's so crazy. I thought this was an interesting little sign. There's the big Gucci store again. So this is going to be interesting. Some of these I don't even think I've seen yet because my mom and I were both taking pictures separately, but they're going to be like chronologically like interwoven. So this will be interesting. We're going to be like warping back and forth between our two journeys. So these are all stuff from my mom. This one is me now. There's my mom. This one's me. This was something. Yeah, this is what me and my friend got. They sell like a bun with tartar sauce in the famichiki. This was me. So one thing I wanted to get was in Japan, pretty much every theatrical release will have a program as like an additional souvenir you can buy that just has info about the movie and some kind of like fun trivia and profiles on all the cast and crew. So I was like, ooh, I want to track down some movie programs of movies that my friends really like. I thought that would be a very fun souvenir. And I think that was a great idea and a great mission, but I was totally unprepared for how difficult it was going to be to find particular movies and stuff. So I went into Jimbocho, which is like the great used book city in Tokyo. So we'll see more of that. But I wanted to visit this place anyways, and this was a great kind of motivator of something to search for. This is now my mom. I think this is in Daiso. She wanted to go to a big Daiso. Again, just for like souvenir hunting, kind of oddity hunting. They had this robot. So this is the first store I went to, the film specialty shop. All sorts of old posters and film memorabilia. And then you can see here in these bins, kind of set up like records, are the programs of different movies. This store itself wasn't really that hard to navigate. It certainly didn't specialize in programs, though. Like, the program selection wasn't too crazy. But I liked that they had English names, so I didn't have to read katakana over and over and over again. Sorted by director, you can see Lynch, Polanski, Ridley Scott, Soderbergh. So this was really cool to dive through and appreciate already. Here is the book hotel in Jimbocho, which has, you know, hotel rooms and then all sorts of other book-related stuff. If you're an avid book lover, I'm sure this would be a great place to stay, just in the heart of the used book city. Jimbocho was amazing. And much more than Akiba, it felt very tourist unfriendly. Akiba, I felt, and Nakano, which we'll see later, has really conceded to the idea that they're going to get a lot of tourists and they want to be more accommodating than anything. And so you can do things like take pictures within the stores, and a lot of stuff is written out in English. Not so in Jimbocho, generally. Most of the stores were still no photos inside, either with explicit signs or in absence of signs. I would just ask, and I was typically told no. So I don't have that many great pictures in Jimbocho, unfortunately. But yeah, like Honsuki san no tame no online so seron. Okay, so it's like a book lovers online salon. Let's begin. I don't know why it's called an online salon. Oh, wait. At any rate, yeah, if you're a book lover, this hotel is set up for you, basically, is what's being said here. This was a big stack of sumo magazines. I thought this was really cool. 500 yen each. So this was the really crazy film program store. Okay? and I don't know how to even begin expressing how difficult this store was to navigate. First off, it was just so hard to just physically move around in. And then the sorting I could not really comprehend because there was a lot of stuff sorted by year, and then there was other stuff sorted by genre, and then other stuff sorted by director, and then other stuff sorted by lead actor or actress, and then other stuff sorted by country of origin. So if I had a particular movie in mind, I didn't know if I should be going to its director or its year or its country or its genre or its star or what. And so I was like totally overwhelmed. Um, it was nuts. There'll be a video probably coming out in the next few days because I'm finally wrapping up the look at pictures where I do go through all the souvenirs I got, and then you can see what kind of stuff I got, and I think I tell the stories of finding them in much more depth, so we don't need to do all that again. But yeah, this was a crazy store. This was one of the craziest stores I was in, for sure. There was just like tens of thousands of movie programs, and I'm sure almost any movie I could think of was somewhere in there, but I had no idea how to begin finding it. Very, very overwhelming. Here is the exterior of one of the many, many used bookstores in Jimbocho. Uh, just the gravity of these old volumes of that kind of weathered book color I found so moving and kind of so overwhelming. Just these old sets selling for oodles of money of I don't even know what. I think a lot of things are like textbooks or very old novel series or old translations of Chinese novels or who knows what. Really, really amazing. And then it's just a whole strip of stores like this. Like it's just everywhere you look for multiple blocks is these types of old used bookstore. It was so amazing. Here's a map of all of them that also shows, I think, how old they are. So quite a, like 42 years old, 35 years old. It's an amazing, amazing history. This is one my mom took. The Uniqlo's in Japan, some of the big flagship Uniqlo's have a flower store in them, which is really interesting to me. Just as a direction to expand in, I don't know. But they're really cheap, huh? You get good deals on flowers. Here we are back in Jimbocho. Manga store, box set of Baki. Baki is one of the most storied and weird and legendary manga that I haven't yet tackled. I read everything by this mangata's daughter, Paru Sensei, who did Beastars and Sanda. But I haven't gone back to her father's great work, Baki, and plunged into its madness. This was on the way to Nakano. See, I didn't take too many other pictures of Jimbocho, but it was amazing. And, like, the specialty ones especially. There was one that was focused on old manga. I really wish I could have taken pictures in there, but, again, they asked not to. That had, you know, on par with the best selections I'd seen in Mandarake of just old, like, pre-Jump manga, pre-serialization era manga. You know, the first works of Tezuka and his contemporaries. It was mind-blowing. There was one that was all about rock memorabilia, like programs from rock bands touring Japan and big archives of tablature, and I don't know, it was amazing. It's the most loving tribute of rock music. I got a flyer from there, like a map kind of pamphlet type thing. So at some point I'd like to study in depth kind of the history of all these stores and what they all specialize in, but it is what it is. Jimbocho. After that, I went to Nakano, the home of Nakano Broadway, which we will see in considerable depth coming up. But this is kind of the shopping arcade that leads into Nakano Broadway. They had all sorts of cool stores here. Warp back to Ginza. There's the Cartier store. A Van Cleef store. Back to Nakano. You can see Nakano Broadway at the end. So Nakano Broadway is just like this old otaku mall where Mandarake, which you've heard me sing the high praises of before, was founded and is still headquartered and has most of their stores. Well, not most of their stores, but the largest concentration of their stores is still in Nakano. All sorts of Mandarake specialty stores and then all sorts of other otaku stores. But it's a weird mix because it's like 1/3 that, and then 1/3 like other strange specialty stores. Like there's a lot of like watch shops, like vintage watches and watch repair and other like jewelry. And then 1/3 just like random old mall stuff. Like there's like a bakery and a dental office and like a hair salon. And they're all just sort of tossed into the mix of Nakano Broadway, which has this very old school feel. Oh, I passed a pet shop where they had these tiny, tiny little puppies. They were so cute. So here we are in Nakano Broadway. There's a big arcade in there as well, which has a ton of rhythm games. I don't know what the hell this is. This is like a rhythm game that I cannot identify, which is very rare. It looks sort of like Chuni, but physical keys instead of a touchboard. And then it has these levers, sort of like on Genki. It's on Pasili, so I imagine it's Konami affiliated in some capacity. But I don't know what the hell this is. Someone please tell me if you're watching this and you know. Back to my mom. Big champagne ad out in Ginza. Back to me. Again, I was talking at length about this in the previous one, that there's this deep, mysterious aura around Pokemon promos that I saw in guidebooks as a kid that were like Japan exclusive. And this was at the top of the list of ones that commanded a great value and clearly still command a great value, and just had like this sort of mythical aura to it. The Birthday Pikachu, or Your Name's Pikachu, I think was given out as a promotion to kids whose birthday it was that went to some Pokemon Center like way back in the day. And this is the first time and probably only time I might see one in the flesh. It's amazing. There it is. As a kid, I would just like fantasize about cards like this because, you know, I took great pains and efforts to complete my English language collections as to the best of my ability as a little kid who didn't have that much money. But then it was like, someday, I'll collect not only all the English cards, but stuff like this that just felt like mythical things. Oh, it's the 2nd anniversary, so this is maybe not even the exact one that I saw as a kid. Back to Ginza, my mom looking at the Prada store. Back to me, this is one of... I think this is the first Mandarake. It has this very famous, wonderful storefront that exemplifies, I really think, the spirit and excitement of the Mandarake culture. This one specializes in manga. Old manga, new manga, just all manga. One of the most amazing selections of manga you'll ever see. Wow, we were taking pictures at like the exact same time. 121, 121, 121. In between my mom getting shots of the Prada building, I was taking pictures of this Mandarake. Kind of crazy. This is the latest issue of Morning, which is like a seinen serialized manga, where this manga I'm really enjoying, Shima Kosaku, is serialized. So that was exciting. I think this is also where One Day Outing Foreman, which is another one of my current favorite manga, is serialized, but I'm less sure about that. And it's just like, I'm sure all these series I would love. They're all just kind of about middle-aged men's adventures. And usually, you know, look at this guy loving his ramen. Want to know more about that. Here was a gigantic collection of Cooking Papa, a very, very long-running series about this father who loves to cook. Here you can see volume 151. One Piece ain't got shit on this. It's a manga that I don't think I'll ever really have the capacity to read unless my Japanese improves a lot, because I just don't see this getting scanlated. There was a group attempting it that got through, I think, like 1 volume, but like, what an intimidating project that is. But yeah, it's really nice. Every chapter is just him making some recipe, and then it teaches you the recipe as you go. It's so lovely. This was a gachapon archive store, or at least that's what I call it. I don't know if it has a different name than that. But essentially, you have your gachapon machines, and then after it goes out of circulation and they're not restocking it or whatever, or really concurrently with that, but people pull them and then they're duplicates and stuff. They sell to a store like this, and then you can go back and buy from so many machines over history the specific ones that you're looking for. Yeah, I say it's contemporary because these ones were still definitely in stores. These are like Mofu Sand cats. It's like this brand of little cats in costumes, and my mom really wanted the shark one, and I think she did a couple pulls and never got it. And so while I was in here, I was like, ooh, maybe I can find the Mofu San shark. But 2,000 yen, the price on these really ranges drastically, depending on, how in demand it is. So everybody wants the shark, and so the shark is 2,000 yen, which is a little much for a gachapon toy. Meanwhile, my mom went to this Haku Hinkan Toy Park, a big store in Ginza that sells all sorts of crazy toys and stuff. This was a big cat model set collection thing in there. Took a few pictures of that. Back to me and Nakano Broadway. This is a very typical store for Nakano Broadway. Just some old independent otaku shop that is just packed to the gills with stuff. Everywhere you look is stuff. I even in this picture, you can't begin to comprehend what all there is to look at. Shall we find treasures and dreams forgotten in the boyhood? This really encapsulates the spirit of nostalgia that drives so much of Nakano. Like, there's, every era of anime and manga and everything represented, but there's certainly an overrepresentation of, like, the 70s and 80s and even earlier and stuff that I think the children of that era growing up now want to rebuy and recapture. But this is like, don't use cameras inside the store. So, or no. It's telling you that there are cameras inside the store, like security cameras. Well, whatever. Anyways, I didn't take any pictures in there. This was another store in Nakano. They had these big Miku plushes I thought were super cute. This was an audio store in Nakano that had just really cool old speakers and stuff all set up on display. They had a Hi-Fi Man amplifier. I talked about Hi-Fi Man before. There's just this Chinese audiophile brand that my cousin really likes and kind of clued me into. They're currently like crushing it in terms of all the kind of objective metrics around headphone quality and audio quality and stuff. And it's kind of interesting to see China just sort of like move into this territory. So yeah, it was neat to see some really high-end Hi-Fi Man equipment. Big Astro Boy shelf. This is heading into one of my favorite of the Mandarake specialty shops. So there's kind of like a couple big Mandarake in Nakano that focus on like figures or manga. But then they have all of these special Mandarake outlets. And this one focuses on like toy automatons from all around the world. And, they got JFK in the rocking chair that really rocks back and forth. But the biggest thing is toy robots. The intersection is just these really beautiful displays of old toy robots, often in really impeccable condition despite their age. Often very expensive, as you can see. But these I just think are so neat, and just the reverence they have for them. There's also a little Dr. Slump section in here, old crazy looking dolls and stuff they made. So yeah, this is how it's laid out. It's so cool. This is the first issue of Shonen Jump that has One Piece. This was the debut issue of One Piece. Very expensive, but like, what do you expect? This is manga history being made. One of the most important and certainly the most successful manga series ever made. That's where it all starts. And of course, my personal favorite manga of all time. So I was very excited to see this piece of history. Here again is just that old manga stuff from the birth of manga, Tezuka and Peers. So cool to see. So amazing. Just these in wonderful condition books from like the 50s. Big wall of old Jump. I never get tired of this. Just breathing it in. Decades and decades of manga history. So many legendary series. Beginning and end in the volumes before our eyes. This was a model train focused Mandarake. I don't know much about model trains. I think they're very cool. Again, it's like one of the many hobbies I could see myself getting into at some point in the future if things like money and space give me the opportunity to. So it's like I don't really know what I'm looking at here. I don't know what makes these rare or desirable or valuable. But it's just sort of neat to see because you can feel the aura. You can feel the aura of the history of all these things. Cute little porcelain Dalmatian set. I think I have things from the same series. I think I have other porcelain Dalmatians that were made probably at the same time, which is really cool to see. That happens sometimes in Japan. You'll have something from your childhood that you do not associate with Japan at all, and then suddenly you just get a glimpse of the overlap in some old store like this. This was like a super vintage kind of store. I think in here I bought little Miffy figures from my mom. I can't remember now. Old Game & Watches. Very cool. Super old Bandai systems. You know, pre-cartridge TV games and stuff. Very, very neat. Famicom, mint in box. So cool. And like, when you really think about it, it's like complete in box from 1984 or whatever. And it's only 33,000 yen. Like only like 300 bucks. That's pretty amazing. That's Japan, baby. They had a video screen set up that was playing Pokemon Stadium minigames. This one I loved. My cousin and I would play this one a lot. Chansey's Egg Emergency. Not Egg Emergency, even though the pun is right there. Egg Emergency. You just have to lean back and forth to catch the falling eggs. This is on like baby tier difficulty. The hardest difficulty is actually quite hard. But we got good enough at it that we would just tie over and over again, both getting perfect over and over again. But it was just so satisfying, we would just keep doing it. This is another, I think, new old style vinyl figure. Remember we were trying to really investigate these and do a deep dive on them before? Trying to figure out where the hell they came from. And all of the results were like weird and confusing. I think this is another one from that sort of company. Big Rat Fink statue. If you remember way back in episode 1, I saw one of these in like a storefront. And now I get to see the same one for sale here in Nakano, the land of dreams. Honestly, not a bad price. Big vinyl figure like that. I think this store was all vinyl figures. Another Mandarake Outpost. Sonic and Friends. This was very cute. Cute Sonic plushies. My mom. So I think I headed back after this. I don't know. It was like... God, I love Nakano so much. It's so cool. It's just a one-of-a-kind in the entire world type of place. And I could spend like a week there easily. There was a lot of places I didn't take pictures of either, because, like I said, Akiba seems like they've totally given in, and it's just take pictures free-for-all. But a lot of stores in Nakano as well did not allow you to take pictures. Yeah, I think I went back pretty soon after this. I think this was on the way back, even. Yeah, I'm, like, outside. Anyways, so, yeah, there's, like, a lot of stores in Nakano that I didn't take pictures in that focused on, like, original cells from anime. That was one where, I think, due to photosensitivity as well, they certainly didn't want you taking pictures, but it's just amazing. Like, I actually teared up being able to look directly at the initial drawings of some of the most legendary historic anime of all time. There was all sorts of other ones. Some focused on like idols, some focused on Gunpla. some focused on plushies, some focused on like cosplay fashion. Like Nakano is just amazing. I don't know. I think it's like the truest. It's so like humble too in its own way. Like not there's some really cool looking stores, but it's not so flashy. It's not like big store because you're all just in this mall. It's just this 4th floor mall. I don't know. I was blown away, but I was also getting very tired and run down, and I knew our plane was the next day. So I called it after maybe only 4 hours inside the mall itself with mixed feelings, you know? A strong feeling of I need to go back. I will go back eventually. It's really one of the most remarkable places I've been in the entire world. I love Nakano so much. These scant photos do not do it justice. I'm sure there's like YouTube deep dives and stuff where they'll teach you about the history and stuff. I might watch one myself. I already read, all the Wikipedia articles associated with Nakano Broadway, but I don't know. It's just something special. Anyways, yeah, so I called it. We went back. And then my mom had been buying these Family Mart egg sandwiches a lot. And they were really, really good. Like, I tried one too. This was like her go-to snack. And then we had heard, but we hadn't tried yet, that you're supposed to get the Fami Chiki, which is just a big kind of chicken nugget. It's so good already. And you're supposed to combine the two, putting the chicken in between the egg salad sandwich. And it was amazing. And I kind of wish I had been eating them the whole trip instead of just on this last day. But it was so good. So then, here indeed is our last day. We got just a nice early night and relaxed and built up on our energy for the plane ride ahead. This was on the way to the airport. This vending machine had kind of a gachapon thing. We could get plastic food. That was fun. I tried a Calorie Mate drink. I've had the Calorie Mate brick before. It's like a meal replacement thing. I'd never had the drink before. It's fantastic. It actually tasted so good. Curious George playing hoops. This was like last minute gachapon at the airport. They had quite a few things. We actually got some really cool gachas there. I'd seen a few of these before. It's sort of like, how you can toss change into the shrine. Here you toss your empty gachapon balls in here, where presumably, hopefully, they're reused and recycled. But it has like the same feeling of like, this is a good deed morally. Yeah, big row of gacha here at the airport. Some Pokemon ones. I thought it was cool. They had shiny Rayquaza. What the heck? Shiny Rayquaza is so cool. I don't know if maybe a shiny Rayquaza shows up in the anime or something. They had a little history of gacha here, which is kind of neat. Really kind of explaining to the tourists the origin of gacha and why it's so fun, and it is so fun, and God, I miss them. Here we are with our luggage. It's really funny. In North American airports, in most airports really, you will hear non-stop announcements telling you do not leave your luggage unattended. Do not let your luggage out of your sight. Do not lose physical contact with your luggage for even a second. And then here, in the gachapon area, it was like, please leave your bags here. Please do not take them in among the rows of gachapon. They'll get in the way. Just leave them here. It's like exactly the opposite. This was a regional mascot where he looks like the prefecture shape. They had a bunch of stuff of him. It was cute. They had this Boy and the Heron plushie that looked really disturbing, of the heron with his weird inner teeth. There's a big Lego store in the Narita airport. Like, we basically got here like super early because the airport is always fun to explore as well, and we just wanted to know that we were secure and be ready and not have to worry about anything else. So we just went in and checked our luggage and stuff basically as soon as we could. So there was a lot of airport adventures. The Lego store, Fun little setting. You can make your own mini figure. I really like those Kirby gacha. They link up together to make the poo 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 train. Mini disc gachapon. I had a mini disc player back in the day. I should have got it. I just like so many things I'm looking at, and it's like that was so cheap. Why didn't I get it? Why didn't I get it? Ah, well. I sure got a lot of stuff. I got ramen because I actually hadn't had ramen the entire time I was there. So I got ramen at the airport. It was really good. And then maybe an hour later, I started really regretting getting, something so rich and fatty when I was staring down a 13-hour flight. But then that subsided and that was fine. My mom got pad thai from a Thai place that was really good. I got me a peach drink, one of my favorites. Actually, no, this was a different brand of peach drink. That's why I took a picture of it. It's a different peach nectar, but it was really good. I got to see the origin. It's lemon, which is like the least exciting flavor. It's the one that you see most often in North America. But it was so cool. The puree boxes. Oh, goodness. Could have just grabbed one of those. They were like stocking it. Got one of these fruit sandwiches. I thought that would be a nice dessert. It was. It was delicious. Slice of pear, slice of peach, slice of strawberry, and a nice cream. And here we are on the airplane, playing the trivia game again, just like at the start of our trip, which was so long before, it was only quote-unquote 2 weeks, but just so much had happened, it felt like a month. And it feels like so long ago making these videos as well. Like, it's been probably a month, no, more than a month now, like a month and a week since I started making these videos. So I feel nostalgic even for that. Here's the obligatory blurry shot out the window. Taking off, leaving Tokyo in our distance. I got dog walked by my mom in the trivia game. No good. Losing. But we played this for quite a while. Here was our meal. My flight back. On the flight there, I kind of had aspirations of like watching anime and getting caught up on that, or watching movies or something, On the way back, I realized what would be most like soothing for me and really most enjoyable for me would be to just replicate something I do often at home. Have a sitcom on the screen that I'm listening to, and then read manga on my phone. And I did that for like the vast majority of the flight. I got totally caught up on Witch Watch, which I loved, and I reread an entire arc of Kaiji, which was one of my favorite arcs, and I just knew that it would be engrossing, and that I already knew I'd love it. And so that just took up the vast majority of the time. This is our breakfast. Really not a bad flight at all. I settled into it. I felt good. The only problematic part was my mom fell asleep, and then the person next to her fell asleep. I was on the window seat, and I really needed to go to the bathroom. And I started getting really tired. I started nodding off. And I was like, if I fall asleep, I might like pee my pants. That became an urgent crisis to me. And yet, because I was so sleepy, and I also kind of just wanted to fall asleep. Like, if you fall asleep, that's so great. You're just warping through the flight. So I was like so conflicted as to what to do. And I really didn't want to wake up my mom and the stranger, because obviously, again, sleeping is so precious. That's like what you're aiming for. I didn't want to disrupt that. And it kept going back and forth. But then I could tell I was actually falling asleep. Like, I started kind of having a dream. And then I was like, no, this is bad. So I woke up my mom, woke up the other guy, apologized, went to the bathroom, I started peeing. And then while I was peeing, I had this horrible sensation of, oh, what if this is the dream? What if I'm still in my seat and I'm peeing my pants? And I felt this like misery sitting there in the airport bathroom. And then I was like, no, if this is a dream, the airplane bathroom wouldn't suck so much. I think this is real. I started kind of getting like more awake. And of course it was real. Unless I'm still dreaming. No, that was real. Yeah, went back to my seat. I don't think I ever slept, but my mom and the other guy got back to sleep. I just kept reading manga. Had some breakfast. And here we are, back in the Toronto airport. That was it. Our trip to Japan. This was my mom's walking. She screen capped her like walking app. And outside of days where she just kind of took a break, you can see is pretty substantial. 84 kilometers in total. Pretty amazing. This was her haul of stuff, of souvenirs. She got a lot of nice stuff. Bunch of gacha. Her popcorn box from Disneyland. Some candy that she liked. Some stuff for her husband, for her family. Good haul. My haul, of course, will come in a different video. Which, oh yeah, this is so cool too. I got one of these too. It's like a gacha toy that's a gachapon machine, and it really works. It really works. Look at that. They're little Pokemon ones. So you can even see, I got Smoliv. It's way too small to show up. I got Smoliv. It's so cool. This is like one of the best gacha I've ever seen. I should have got more, even. I should have tried to get the whole set. Pretty finicky to put together. My boyfriend had to put mine together for me. As I said, I'm not good at such things. But this is the one my mom got. Very cool. Other gacha toys she got. A little pin with Pochako. This was the Mofu-san she got. A gardener eel. Little Tuxedo Sam. Pringles thing. Japan pin. Pringles can. And that's it. Alright, we looked at some like 4,000 pictures. It took a long time. But I had a lot of fun doing it. I hope you had fun watching it. It was a great way to relive the trip for me and have all the complex feelings around, I wish I was there still, and oh, I had such a wonderful time. I'm satisfied. I'm certainly going to go to Japan again. Don't worry about that. So you will see probably in some number of years another extremely lengthy video discussion of all the stuff I did that time too. And you can go back as well. I made videos in 2019 of all the stuff I saw and ate and bought. So lots of Emily in Japan content for the Emily in Japan fans. A very unique trip compared to the 3 I'd taken previous to this. Due to, of course, traveling with my mom and doing a whole different selection of activities because of that. And then, of course, just on my own end, too. I've really drastically changed in the 5 years since my previous trip. I don't know. It was, like, really interesting to kind of reintroduce myself to Japan as a different person, truly, in many ways. And just kind of take in Japan from a whole new perspective. In many ways, it was the best trip because of that. You know? Other trips were more extreme in some ways, and I did more crazy stuff and really lived it up with my friends. But this was the trip that coincided with by far the mental health of my life and best overall happiness with my life. And so I think I was able to enjoy it and take in even more than I ever was before. Yeah, it was a great time. Really, really lovely trip. Like I said, I recorded quite a while ago videos going through all of my souvenirs and snacks and stuff I bought. So I'll upload those sometime in the next few days, so look forward to that. But that's pretty much it. I don't know. I feel like there was something kind of... Like, the whole time I was there, I was kind of, like, trying to philosophize about the trip and about Japan and differences in culture and stuff. And I can remember thinking, oh, I also, on top of, you know, I had planned on making these look-through pictures videos, I also wanted to do kind of my more traditional slideshow video with all sorts of notes and stuff. And talk about ideas around... I don't know, I had this kind of thesis in my head that Japan, compared to North America, can be sort of like... Ursula K. Guin's The Dispossessed, where one is exemplified by freedom from, and the other is exemplified by freedom to, and I kept kind of thinking about things in that context, but now it's like, I don't really remember. I should have been taking notes at the time. I didn't keep like a exhaustive diary as I have in previous trips on this one. I don't even remember which one I was saying was which. uh, yeah, I don't know. I felt like I had a much more uh, deep and meaningful understanding of like Japanese culture, just because I'd learned so much since my last trip, and I think also just sort of appreciating it through my mom's eyes, and just sort of the gap of things that I knew and that things she was learning in the moment. Uh, I don't know, but again, it's like that's also distant from me now. I don't really remember what I was going to say, and so I feel kind of at a loss at the end for something kind of profound to say about Japan and about my experience, but I don't know. I yapped enough. I don't know if there was anything that I could have come up with that I didn't cover at some point here. It's quite the place. It's quite the place. Everybody's figuring out now. Tourism was up like 17x. Everyone is realizing what a wonderful place Japan is to visit, and I can't wait to go back. That's the long and short of it. I already can't wait to go back. Okay. Bye bye.